Órale, Cholo, choque los tres chingones boxing shots, all the chingones y chingonas. And over the weekend, we had Shane Mosley Jr. versus the Miracle Man, Daniel Jacobs. In the co-main event of the Nate Diaz Masvidal fight. Um, and these two names are somewhat notable, which is why, it was the co-main event. Not to say that it was going to be some huge action-packed fight, but you got two actual real boxers going in there and doing their thing. So I was interested in this fight, not because I thought either one of these guys is gonna, get a victory and then is gonna catapult their career going forward. Nah, chale, dog. Both of these guys, in my opinion, are not going anywhere in the sport of boxing. I don't know how old Daniel Jacobs is, but he's up there in age. He's already had his time to shine. He's already had, all the big matches that he was going to have in his career. He was in there against Canelo. He was in there against Triple G, back in his heyday. And I thought at some point Daniel Jacobs was a pretty damn good fighter. Now, he's a little bit of a shell of that. And Sugar Shane Mosley Jr., he's what, 33 years old? I think he doesn't even have 30 fights under his belt. So I'm not really sure, where he's gonna go in his career and what this really does. I mean, it puts a name under his belt. Yeah, sure. But is he really going to catapult his career going forward at 33 years old? What kind of fight is he looking to get? Now, I think these guys were fighting at 168 pounds. I'm not really sure where they were fighting at, but they were fighting somewhere around there. And I thought it was a somewhat decent, okay, so fight. I thought both of these guys met at each other's level. I had said that before. And when it comes to Daniel Jacobs, who I think is a much better boxer, a much better fighter than Shane Mosley Jr. ever was in his prime, that is. But the reason why I was interested in this fight is because this version of Daniel Jacobs, who is past his prime, I'm not really so sure, man, if he's better than Shane Mosley Jr. But Daniel Jacobs in his prime, back in his heyday, yeah, I think he would have beat Shane Mosley Jr., but he's not in his prime. He's not in his heyday. He's in the twilight years of his boxing career, man. He's getting ready to hang it up, and maybe he hangs it up right here. So Shane Mosley Jr. comes out with a victory, unanimous decision. And yeah, I thought he won. Now there was a cut over Daniel Jacobs' left eye. Now it was ruled a headbutt, right? But when I was watching it, there was a nice, crisp, straight right landed right on that eye. And then Shane Mosley comes in with his head, and it looks almost like he just kind of rubbed the eye, like right after the punch. It didn't really look much of a collision. Now, when it comes to the headbutts, it doesn't take much of a headbutt. It doesn't take much of a collision with the head to bust the eyelid open. All right. So I don't want to say it wasn't hard enough to bust his eye open. However, there was a nice, good punch landed exactly right on that eyelid, man. Right on that eyebrow to bust him open, immediately followed with Shane Mosley coming forward and then kind of, yeah, I mean, it was a headbutt, but it was more like a head rub. And then you see his eye bleeding. So I'm not so sure that it was the headbutt that busted his eye open, but that's the way they ruled it. And yeah, man, sure, Shane Mosley, or just Shane Mosley Jr. gets the victory on this. I mean, when it comes to Daniel Jacobs, uh, it's been time for him to hang it up. He hasn't been the same fighter for years now. It's been a few years. It's not just, well, you know what, like his, last fight. No, it's been a few years, man. But look, he got a payday, and I don't know where he's at in his finances, but As far as him stepping into the ring, it's not looking pretty. He looked, for what he is today, he looked okay, but that's it, man. I mean, unless he's gonna be fighting these type of fights like this, so just guys could go over on him, I don't really see what's left for his career. And having somebody like Shane Mosley Jr. go over on you, I'm not really sure what really that does. I mean, so what? Shane Mosley Jr. beat you, and where does Shane Mosley Jr. go from here? He's going to get some sort of title shot or anything. Look, maybe a Shane Mosley Jr. can get a fight with, say, like a Edgar Berlanga or a Jamal Charlo, one of those kind of guys, and maybe he does get a victory with those guys. But I don't see him getting in there and competing with, say, somebody like a Caleb Plant or a David Benavidez or a David Morrell. Both of those guys moved up to 175, but or for damn sure not a Canelo Alvarez or any of those guys, man. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what's up with Shane Mosley Jr. Like I said, he's 33. He somewhat stays kind of active, I guess. I think he fought like 3 times last year, but this is only his first fight this year. So we'll see what happens with it. But it was somewhat of a decent fight. I wasn't that bored. At some point, you had the fans booing. I thought it was okay. For what it was supposed to be, I thought it was pretty decent, man. Cholo Chocros Tres Chingones Boxing. Shouts to all the chingones y chingonas. Catch you guys on the next round.